My Tro deck is I tossed out hello, how you doing? Hope things are going well for you. My welcome to my channel, and please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell to be told when the next video is coming up, because now that my setup is a little bit different, I can now make videos much faster. Although whether or not the concentration will be there to allow me to make videos much faster, that's an entirely separate question. But this video will be about my deck. My deck. My latest artwork. Okay. My deck, I tossed out the Arabic number system. The Arabic number system is 1 through 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the Arabic number system. And I went with the Elder Futhark number system because the Elder Futhark number system is what the circle of the Elder Futhark is what actually created, is what is the scaffolding for the Hebrew language, and the Hebrew language is the major arcana, and the deck is actually divided into 3 parts. One part, the primary part, is the major arcana, which is universal. The minor arcana is the suits and court, which is divided in half. You have the suits, which is the cups, swords, wands, pent. And that is not random. That's according to the year. That's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Back to springs, cups, so on. The court is connected to the commoners, but it's the royal court, which means that it's the journey of the Sphinx. The riddle of the Sphinx is what walks on 4 legs, 2 legs, then 3 legs, then no legs. Well, that answer is a human being. That's the walk of the human. A baby walks on 4 legs, then learns to walk on 2 legs, then needs a cane or some kind of assisted device, so therefore walks on 3 legs, and then doesn't walk. But you take that basic animalistic understanding and apply it, that you have a page, a knight, a queen, a king, and a wise one, because as civilization has advanced, there are elderly people who need assistance with either assistance or wheelchairs or walkers and those kind of things, but they can apply decades of experience to the younger generations. When an animalistic culture, you don't have the elderly die off because no one's feeding them, no one's caring for them, they're off doing their own thing, and no one is taking care of the kids take priority, and the elderly basically get left to die, which on some elder care doesn't take long at all. However, within the functionality of the royal court, you have page, knight, king, queen. Well, you also have the Gandalfs, the court advisors, the ministers, who sometimes are the age of the king, sometimes are a little bit less, a little bit younger, but a lot of times, especially with young kings, the teenagers and the early 20s, middle 20s, you have advisors who are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, depending on time period. There's some advisors who were literally in their 60s and 70s, who were around for several years before, and were training the 50-year-olds to take over their job later on. So you have wise one, and those are age appropriate. From 0 to about 25 is the page. From 22 to about 48 as a knight, and in the late 30s, middle 40s, 50, you then have a king, and then 60, 70 years old, you have wise ones. So it's broken down kind of by generation, sort of, depending on a lot of different factors. But anyway, the most important thing to understand about the tarot is that it's not some kind of a weird mythical oddity. The tarot is actually quantum physics. It's quantum physics equations. It's a foundation of mathematics that you put down. Okay, how you live your life is a lot based on temperature. Are you hot? Are you cold? If you're hot, your physical body is going to respond differently than if you're cold. Well, if you are in an environment where you need to protect yourself because your body is being assaulted, then it would be winter. That'd be cold. That would need to be, you need to wear coats and such to be able to retain body heat. Well, that's also a really good thing to do when you're being attacked by physical, mental, spiritual, or some other kind of an assault. That the coat will actually not only keep body heat in, but it will also keep projectiles from damaging your skin, or damaging you, or damaging various sort of other aspects. So that's actually not a weirdity, oddity. That's a variable. That's a collection of variables. Winter is a collection of physical reaction variables. Summer is the same thing, and the opposite. If you need to reduce heat, you take off layers and layers of clothing down to very, very little clothing, because it's easier for sweat to whisk off and evaporate if it doesn't get caught in the clothing to be dealt with. So therefore, as the sweat evaporates off your body, that evaporation effect takes heat from you. That's all physics. So if you get in a situation where you need to purge poisons from your system, you think of heat as poison in this metaphoric situation, then that's all about whisking away from you what is getting in the way of, is what is interrupting your bioharmony, your biosynthesis. There's a multitude of ways to say it, and I'm not remembering the exact proper medical term for it, but biosynthesis works well enough. These are all variables. So if I'm in a situation where I want to ask about love life, which is the 99.9% of the time psychics get asked questions, they get asked about does he or her love me? Well, that's a very easy answer. If the cards come down in winter, then it's all about protecting yourself. That means that this is a bad idea. Or it's this is your home. This is your hearth. Invite this person into your home and hearth based on other cards, based on the other equations that are coming up in the form of a card. There's also summer cards come up, and it's either a go take action, as in yes, bring it, go out and frolic and tiptoe through the tulips and such, or it's this is something that needs to be sweated off. This is something that needs to be whisked off as heat to the bioharmony. You're too hot. You're going to get sick, so therefore you need to whisk this off. So it's not simple answers, because human life is not simple. It's not simple aspects of life, because again, life is not simple. Life is not one size fits all. Life is very complicated. Now, some people in your life will bring you fantastic, awesome lessons, but you need to be aware of the fact that they're bringing you difficulty. If you sign up to be in the military, I guarantee to you that your drill instructor through boot camp is going to tear you apart. Mentally, physically, emotionally, you're going to be torn apart. But the problem is that's what is needed in order for you to be able to be a good soldier in that specific type of military. If you go into college, then you're going to need to go through a college type boot camp where the college, their professors are there to tear you academically apart, telling you your sentences are junk and your citations are nothing, and the formatting is horrible, because this tears you apart mentally, physically, and emotionally in order to be able to conform to how to address scholastically the ideas you have in your head need to be put into a format that the community can understand. Well, there is some aspects of, okay, you're going to boot camp, which means it's going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to be really bad. It's going to really hard on you. You're going to have to protect yourself, and you're going to have to whisk all kinds of poison off of yourself. But the rewards sometimes are good and sometimes are bad, depending on a lot of different situations in your life. So Thoreau is all about the study of physics. The study of physics is encapsulated into the concept of what is best for my path and what is best to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. The standard Celtic cross spread, for example, it's one card down. It's the first equation down, which is whatever variables that go with that equation, and then the crossbar equation, and then the one down is 3, 4 is back, 4 is the past, 5 is above you, around you, 6 is the future. Then the line on the side is 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, and 10 is the basic the bar of the Celtic cross. The Celtic cross is up here with the crossbar and its circle, and then you have the basic bar down here. That functionality of the Celtic cross is a navigation aid. It's a signpost. This is up, this is down, this is right, left, this is back, this is forward, this is past, this is future, in order to allow you to have a clear picture in your head as to, okay, here are the variables in my life. Here are the variables that are important that I'm going to learn from. Here's the variables that are important to fluff off. Here are the variables that are important to bring into my life. And here are the variables that are important to not have around me. Now, those 4 things may sound like I'm just repeating myself and I'm repeating myself, but that's actually not true. Humans are not simple creatures. They don't have simple wants, needs, and desires. They're actually very complicated wants, needs, and desires, because there's some humans who want, need, and desire to have experiences that are vastly different than your experiences. Well, their path is their path. Your path is your path. Your path needs to be your path, and their path needs to be their path. You telling someone else that they're doing what they're doing, they're fine, their path just fine and dandy all on their own, and they're not hurting anybody, themselves or others, and your path is not to get in the way of their path, and their path is not to get in the way of your path. So there needs to be that also needs to be added to it if you want to become a Marine and you want to go through Paris Island DI training, go be screamed at for X amount of weeks by a Marine Corps DI, that's your path. If that's what you want to do, then go do it. More power to you. But a pacifist, or someone who has issues with the Marines, or issues with authority figures or army or something, that person's going to try to dissuade you. But that's none of their business. But at the same time, if someone's a pacifist, then someone who's militant, it's none of their business to go dissuade them from being a pacifist, from thinking the military is the worst thing in the world. They have their path. You have your path. Walk them separately. That's kind of what the Celtic Cross is about. Is going, okay, what's best for you? What is best? What is your best determination as to how best to live your life and to live your lessons and to do what you want to do without problems and issues getting in the way? How can you avoid people trying to interrupt your path that are bad for you to listen to, and bring people who will help you along your path, who will give you help, give you aid, give you advice, or to give you the structure and discipline, as in DI related, that will help you achieve larger goals, even though it may be a little bit on the painful side to be able to achieve some of those goals. As in, becoming a Marine is not exactly easy, but it's worth it if you want to achieve the goals that go with being a Marine, or being for, in this case, spending the rest of your life as an ex-Marine, unless various sort of other things happen. But Thoreau is all about physics, the study of physics, the study of quantum physics, because you've got quantum mind stuff, electricity, you have spiritual stuff, you have physical attributes, so you have mind, body, spirit, all kind of in a jumble, trying to find a good signpost, a good direction in life. And the Thoreau is all about trying to figure out how to create an equation that allow you to have signposts to for the Celtic Cross, for one thing, to have signposts as to how to navigate around the problems in your life, and that will achieve that goal. Now, to elaborate on a different idea, I was in scholastics. The history of academics and scholastics is a difficult one on a good day, because a lot of lessons, a lot of books, a lot of textbooks, and a lot of information comes from sources that academics doesn't like. During the 3 pretty heavy-duty dark ages that Western culture has come from, it came out of a major dark age. It went into a minor dark age of the Dorian Dark Age, and then emerged from the Dorian Dark Age to create the Greek scholastic system. Although the word Greek did not exist, it was coined by the Romans, and then went into another 1500-year dark age with the Vatican. Now, the cultures that keep track of and keep hold of information during dark ages is religions. The Muslims had and have libraries, although some of the Muslim libraries are get destroyed at times, but there's backup copies in other places. The Jews have huge synagogue libraries that they have to move around a lot, because the Jews are being anti-Semitic is a way of life for some cultures, including some academic cultures. Being anti-Semitic is just how they do their thing. It's okay, we're bored, we got to go find some more Jews to be nasty with. That's just the way that culture functions. So when the cultures get nasty and the rulers destroy knowledge, the religions hold it until the culture is done with its 3-year-old temper tantrum, and they want to learn again. Well, when they want to learn again, some scholars are invited into the synagogues, the mosques, and the like, and there's this slow advance of information that was inside the non-burned, destroyed libraries that trickles out and then starts to expand and explode into this one person then teaches hundreds, if not thousands, and those people teach the throngs over and over, generation after generation. And the information that one scholar, this one scholar goes into a synagogue and reads one book, they come out and they write multitude of information based off of that one book. Then the people they teach and they interact with then take that one book, and then that one collection of writings from this one scholar who went into the synagogue, and they expand it generationally, exponentially. So there's the APA format of writing. There's MLA. There is about 20 different ways, aspects to and formulations of how to write in order to be able to convey information. Now, one of the problems about modern culture is that and the reason why I'm unable to finish my master's degree, even though I've been to 6 separate grad schools, is because I keep running in. I categorized it this way. There's three primary ways in which a reader or a writer does their thing. A are people who want things as clinically Webster's dictionary, word, colon, 1 or 2 sentences of description, and it has to be as dry as dry as dry. Sahara is the bottom of the ocean type dry in comparison. They want, negative 200% moisture regarding dry content. Just physical, just facts, and just leave it as facts and as simple and easy facts as possible. 1 or 2 sentences of facts, only facts, only facts. Dry, dry, dry. No, there's really no way to understand how dry that can be or that can get. But it's also difficult to understand what the thing actually truly is if you're that dry. That's A. B is a combination of A and C. Now, C form of writing is where you do the word, colon, sentence or two, but then you go into explanations and descriptions to go into story. You become a storyteller to explain the functionality of what you're describing, what you're talking about, what is happening in the functionality and structure of the description of the information. Of course, you can get into a car and say, okay, key, colon, a thing that goes into a lock, and you turn the lock, and it turns on the car. That's the most dry, simple way to explain that. But it doesn't explain any of the electrical mechanisms or key, the mechanics of a key or the mechanics of a lock, or what you're sticking it into the dashboard or the here, or you're sticking it into the tree where the wheel, a driver's license, the rules of the road, the shape of the car, what type of car. You're leaving all the information out. Well, C includes bits and pieces of that information, and to be able to give a more complete description of what driving a car is, A is car, key, turn the lock, and go. Simplest of simple explanations, but it leaves everything out. B is varying degrees of combining A and B and C, and C is, okay, let's break this down into how old are you? Do you have a license? What kind of a license do you have? What kind of roads are there? What kind of bridges are there? What are the speed limits? How cool are the cops? How long have you been driving? All these are major factors in how you drive. Also, and then the mechanics of the wheel and the so you have A, B, and C typewriters. Well, you also have A, B, and C type readers. Readers there's teachers out there in scholastics and academics out there who cannot function if it's not in A format. You cannot deviate. I've had some teachers who you could not deviate a sentence, a paragraph, an entire paper, one letter or one character away from word, colon, 1 sentence, maybe 2 of description, word, colon, one or 2 sentences of description, 3. You could only do 3 subjects. You did an intro. We're about to talk about A, subject Y, X, Y, and Z. That's what we're going to do. Subject Y, subject X, colon, subject Y, colon, subject Z, colon. We just talked about X, Y, and Z. That's it. As dry as humanly possible dry. It actually doesn't relay any solid good information. It just relays the basic facts. But the readers who process that way can't process if it's in any kind of B or C mode. They can't understand the story and the technical information. You cannot, in their brain, a 16-year-old driver and a 60-year-old driver is the same thing to their brain. I've had multitude of grad school teachers who could not process information. Going, okay, there's a difference between a 16-year-old driver who's had his license for 5 minutes, who was just literally handed it from the DMV clerk, to someone who's been driving for 50 years, who could literally go out and run Indy tomorrow because they know what they're doing. That Al Unser Senior or Bobby, they've done it for decades. They're experts at driving. Just because they're a little old, that doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that they're not still expert drivers. So their brains, it's all about brain function. It's all about how do you process information. The spread, it helps you clarify how you think and process, so that you can input the data the way you need to. But you also need to understand, are you an A, B, or C type writer? Are you an A, B, or C type reader? How do you need to process information? Do you need to process information all A? And also what subject? Because there's some subjects that you need to have to be all A all the time. I don't want anything more than just Hastings happened in 1066. Boom, done. No more needed. Well, there's times when I've had to look up some key pieces of information that I needed one piece of information repeated because it's something that I don't care about memorizing. The Hedy Lamar's birthday, for instance, I don't care when it happened. It happened about, if I remember correctly, it happened in 1914, and she's 2 years younger than Alan Turing, who was born in 1912. But month and date of his birth, I don't care. So I've had to look it up 6 or 7 or 8 times because I don't care to remember when he was born. Leonardo da Vinci, sometime September 1462. 52. And so those days, it's all about how you process information. Sometimes you need the full kit and caboodle of information version. You need to read C version of which comes back to perspective. The perspective of writing, of reading, of being able to process academic information is just as being able to sift through perspective is just as important as how you process the information. Because if you read information correctly, you're an A reader and you go to read for A information, that's fantastic. But sometimes you're given incorrect A information that will give you the wrong idea. Sometimes you're told stories that are completely incorrect. There are examples that have no foundation in reality, but they're shaped in the correct way that it sounds like you're a C reader. They're presenting C information, but for example, I could come up with a story about the Boston Tea Party that would make the 2020 summer 2020 protests of BLM and Antifa in comparison look like nothing. The Tea Party was hardcore violent, massive rioting, massive looting, massive destruction of property. Millions and millions of dollars of property were seized and dealt with accordingly. Many businesses were interrupted, and all kinds of really horrible things happened. Of course, this is also the revolutionary launch of America. So, perspective. Now, BLM and Antifa almost no from BLM and Antifa themselves, almost no violence at all. Now, if you leave out the fact that the Proud Boys would infiltrate BLM and then attack the cops and then evacuate through the chaos, the cops would then use that chaos the cops would then use that chaos to attack the protesters who were innocent, who were doing nothing, and there was coordination between the cops and Proud Boys and a couple of dozen other militant groups who arrived in body armor and tack gear, and a lot of them had military and or police training, as well as there's some slim evidence that won't be released by the Department of Justice that the Proud Boys are undercover cops, or the Proud Boys and a dozen other military groups, paramilitary groups, they're undercover cops, and then the cops and the undercover cops were coordinating against BLM and Antifa. Well, it's all about perspective. So it's, what are the facts? Do the facts alter to, do they remove the information that, if you look at it in general, if you look at it in general, then it was BLM attacking the cops. Not true. But if you look at some just general facts, that would be, the facts would be true. Other facts would not be true. If you looked at it from a different perspective, then the cops and Proud Boys were coordinating together as undercover to attack BLM, and they were not, that the information was not being presented correctly by any of the legal systems correctly. So it's all about how do you process information, and how do you present information inside of those processes to shape the story. How do you shape the perspective, which is one thing that the cards, the equations inside the cards, because you put your life, your ages, your information, your life into the missing variables in the cards, to be able to have a complete equation that applies to you then. It's not about tomorrow, it's not about next month, it's about now. What is your perspective here? What is the way you need to process information here? And what is the best signpost for you to be able to go forward academically? Which is the best process that you learned from? How finding the teachers that they either process or they can accept your way of writing, your way of reading, your way of being able to learn. So I can go on and on and on, but I think I've done enough damage on this video. So thank you very much. Remember to hit the subscribe and like and the little bell, and talk to you later. Thank you.